It's recording.
Is it? Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see on the screen here, it says Live North. So as Jenna had mentioned, I do work for Fanshawe College, but Fanshawe College, as I've mentioned in another call with everyone, contracts Live North to manage the facility, their fitness facility only at the college. So because I work for Live North and because we manage a lot of other fitness facilities, we have our finger on the pulse of what's happening in the industry right now as far as fitness facilities and reopening and what needs to happen. So we've been doing a lot of research in the industry, and we've put together best practices, and we're going to actually be issuing these best practices to all of our facilities across Canada that we manage. But this presentation I'm showing you is specific to what we are doing at Fanshawe College for the best practices. And I'll talk to you about, probably because I'm obviously in the college setting, I know what will, who you will need to get approval from your areas and sort of where you need to communicate these things. So first thing is our best practices, and it's the standard practice that we're going to use for our operating procedures to keep everybody safe, successful, and to keep a sustainable reopen. All of these pictures you see are our actual facility as well, so you'll be able to see that. So in the very beginning, when we were looking at the reopening, we were talking about 60 days out before opening, 45 days out, what are we gonna do, 30 days out, what are we gonna do? And then we quickly have realized, are shifting and changing, that we're not going to have probably the luxury of knowing 60 days before we're going to open and have the luxury of that preparation. So we quickly shifted our focus and decided that we were going to focus in 4 different categories. We were going to look at the planning stage of it, what is in the planning process, what do we need to do to prepare, then our implementation of all of our plans and preparations, and then constant evaluation once we're actually open and using all of these plans. So these are kind of our guidelines that we're using. So when we're looking at the planning stages of things, we're looking at the member and our staff engagement. So members being students, your employees, or if you're open to community or community members as well as your staff. So engaging them in this planning process and just letting them know what's going on, that communication piece with them, because it's really crucial to your members for them to understand what's happening, the students, the employees, and your staff that works at the facility, because we do recommend, we're reaching out to our staff frequently right now because there's some anxiety happening with them. They don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to be employed right away upon reopening? What does that look like? What are their job tasks going to be? Is that going to change? Are they going to mostly be cleaning because there's not a lot of programming happening? So just deciding what that communication is going to be. Another focus is your membership options. So are you going to have regular membership, or are you going to start offering some virtual memberships as well? I think we all know that virtual offerings, or what we're going to be doing virtually, is going to stay. That's going to be something that's going to continue even after we reopen. Virtual programming is, I think, what our future is looking like right now. And what's your programming approach? What is it that you're going to be offering? What does that look like for your facility? Your staff and your member code of conduct. So
I'll get another one.
There's things that are going to change. So staff conduct, meaning, you know, you have to wear a mask to work. Are you going to make them wear masks? They have to sanitize and wash their hands before and after things, cleaning their stations. What is going to be their attire, that kind of approach, the conduct, as well as your members. Are your members going to be expected to adhere to certain things? Maybe it's the direction of travel. They have to now only travel in a certain direction, going upstairs, downstairs. What is that going to look? And you have to look at the consent forms or waivers. I'm not sure, and I know in some facilities that are open to the community, there's going to be waivers and consent forms. So do those need to change now? Do we need to change our waivers and our consent forms to now include this new code of conduct or etiquette that the members have to follow now in the facility to make sure that they understand this is the new way of life here in our facilities? So preparing. So when we're looking at the preparation part, of course, we're looking at our facility layout and our floor plans. So again, that direction of travel, if you have stairs, are you going to have people walking up one walking up the stairs one way and people walking down the other way? Are you going to have arrows on the floor all the way around the facility and you're only allowed to move in that direction to avoid the crossing over of people? This is what our reality is going to be like. We need to look at those things. Identifying maybe if you have staff leaders that can organize that preparation and take on some of those roles of how things are going to be organized. And the biggest thing is equipment layout. What is that going to look like in your facility, and the spacing? I know we've seen a lot of things popping up in the industry where they're putting plexiglass between treadmills, and it's not feasible for a lot of facilities, right? It's just not, it just doesn't make sense. And you would have to build a box all the way around, because sometimes you don't have 6 feet behind or in front of that machine. You might be okay on the sides, but those are types of things you need to start thinking about. And ordering supplies. So what are the things that you're going to need to order? Are you going to need to order a bunch of masks if that's going to be the mandate? And those types of things are going to actually be probably mandated by the health and safety at the college. There's going to be your facilities, and your health and safety will probably set those rules for you, but it's great if you start thinking about those things now. What is that going to look like for your staff and for your members? Do you need disinfectant, different wipes? What does that look? When do you need to get those supplies? How many? Think about that. And the sanitizing of the facility. When and
froze a bit. Can you just repeat that? You froze a bit.
Oh, sorry. Which part? The preparing?
Yeah, if you can just run over that again. It just froze it for a second.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So the facility layout, the direction of travel, and floor plans. So looking at what your floor is going to look like. Are you going to have arrows on your floor and only having traffic in one way? Identifying leaders and your staff to lead the organization of that preparation and what's that going to look like, because not one person can do it. It's great if you have a team helping you out. Your equipment layout. What is your equipment layout going to look like? Your floors, your floor plan. Your equipment's going to have to be spaced out 6 feet apart. Do you have room in your facility for that? Are you going to have to remove some pieces of equipment? Are there other areas? If you see on the left-hand side of this floor plan that I have up here, you'll see this is one of our studios. Is there room to make workout pods in those studios and bring pieces of equipment in there and have program specific workouts that people schedule time to use those pods? What is that going to look like for you? Ordering of supplies. What disinfectant are you going to need? Wipes, masks, gloves, if that's going to be part of what you need, and sanitizing of the facility. How and when is that going to happen? Are you going to have do you have a cleaning company? Is the college cleaning going to do that? Are your staff going to be responsible when you bring them back to sanitize? What's the preparation part? So then we look at the implementation part of it, which is just the action, putting all of those plans into action. What's required to put into action? You're likely going to have staff on board a few weeks prior to for training and the new procedures that's going to happen. What is your front desk and your facility entry going to look like? And are there going to be checkout points for equipment, check-ins and policies? Is it going to be mandatory that they have to stop at the desk? Are they going to have temperature checks? Those types of things. And again, we talked about the floor markings and the distance in between the equipment. The other hot topic right now as well in the fitness industry is your locker rooms and your shower functions. What is that going to look like? And how are you going to monitor the use of those with keeping that social distancing, and how is that going to look? So, and then the last portion is the evaluation part. So this is once you've put everything into action and you're in the reopening phase and you've reopened, now going back and testing and looking at that, and what is the messaging that you're going to give to the members, and evaluate that so that they know that you're doing everything that's possible to keep them safe and healthy. And what's your recovery plan going to be for the pandemic recovery plan? And this can include things like, what's your emergency staffing plan if you have a staff member that gets sick, or you have a few staff members that end up having COVID post reopen? What does that look like? Who is going to be the staff that's going to cover off other staff, and how are you going to function still? And then, of course, assessing the supplies that you need. Keep looking at the supplies. Do you need to refill sanitization stations and your sanitizing wipes. So more specifically, when we're thinking about health and safety, again, you're looking at the cleaning of machines, the wiping, the disinfecting sprays. And a lot of members are they really want to know, they want to see that disclaimer on that product, and they want to know the product that you're using, and they want to see that it actually says it kills the coronavirus. That's what a lot of people want to say. This is what the industry is looking at, looking for those products. Hand sanitizer stations, maybe you need to increase the amount you have. Are your staff going to wear masks? Are the members going to wear masks? What is that going to look like? A lot of what's happening in the fitness industry right now in the States with some of those facilities that are opening, members are wearing masks, they're doing their cardio, and because they can't breathe while they're running on the treadmill, there's people passing out. So now there's a rule where you're wearing your mask when you're walking around in the facility, but when you go to do your cardio, you're taking the mask down off of your mouth, doing your cardio, putting it back up when you're moving around the facility, just to avoid the passing out situation. How are you going to manage the change rooms and the showers and the limited space? Some of these rules and regulations will come from your health and safety department at the college and the facilities, but as long as you're starting to think about that and maybe what your plan of action may be towards that, it will aid in that process for them if you're starting to think about it. Because again, the timing is going to be very crucial. I don't think we're going to have a lot of time. I think it's going to be maybe 30 days, if we're lucky. Could be 3 days and you're opening. We could be told on Thursday, Monday, you can open again. So what can you put in place to ensure good cleaning practices are being followed and hygiene practices are made easy for members? What kind of things can you do so that it's not a large process for them, and you can ensure that those practices are being met and everyone's following the rules? And I think a lot of facilities are looking at monitors. A lot of the times because you're not going to be doing a lot of programming, your staff is going to be your monitors, your floor monitors, walking around, making sure there's distancing, people are cleaning when they're supposed to. And there's the big question that we should all be asking, and we should really make sure we know the answer to and have a plan, is what policies are going to be in place and a detailed plan should a COVID-19 case in your facility pop up post reopening? What does that look like? And how are you going to plan for that? So space allocation, again, floor markings, you can see there's the keep 6 feet away, the arrows, where are you going to move the equipment, what equipment's going to be removed. We're talking about a lot of that smaller pieces of equipment being removed off the floor that's hard to disinfect. Making sure maybe you do a checkout, maybe you remove them off the floor and allow people to use it, but they have to check it out so that you can ensure that you can clean it and disinfect it between use. Direction of travel in your facility, what is that going to look like? Do you have enough space? And your employee workstations, you're going to have to start thinking about spacing for your employees as well. Maybe there needs to be plexiglass in between your workstations, your service desks, and the actual scheduling of your staff. So you need to look at how many staff are going to be in your facility at one time, and you have to now start staggering your staff schedule to ensure that you don't have your staff crossing over and there's not a lot of staff together at one time, just as you would with your facility and members. So when we're talking about floor plans, we're fortunate enough that we have Live North Athletics with our company. So some of you may formerly know them as National Fitness Products. So we now own that company, and we are fortunate that Live Athletics can offer all of these services to us. So they can do the redesign of our floor plans. You'll see those 2 pictures are our floor plans of our facility. They can come in and move the equipment for us, and they offer these services to everyone else as well, not just us. And they can maintenance the equipment. The biggest thing we need to think about with our equipment and maintaining it and cleaning it is that we've had our equipment sitting idle for quite a few months. And equipment like your treadmills, they rely on self-lubrication for use. Your decks, it lubricates your ducts and your belts when you use them over time. So we've had treadmills now sitting there for idle for a couple of months. They're not being lubricated. You're going to need to have a full maintenance plan, have an equipment company come in or a maintenance company to do a full overhaul of all of your equipment and make sure everything's functioning, because it could have some serious effect on the use of your equipment once you reopen. And then of course, looking at the scheduling of equipment, what does that look like? 20 minutes, this person can schedule, 40 minutes, on and off, booking, what booking process they're going to have for people using that equipment. And giving yourself time to sanitize the equipment in between, because we're going to have to take that on ourselves as well. As much as we know that our members, you can ask them to clean before and after for their own safety, but we have a responsibility as well to make sure we're sanitizing on a regular basis. So this is just an idea of what the floor plan can look like. This is one example. The white circles would be sort of the spacing and where people could stand in between the equipment. Arrows on the floor. This is kind of an example of how you could space out. This is my floor plan with some spacing on it. And this could be another one too. So a bunch of different arrows where you're actually making sure that people are coming up the stairs and only going in one certain direction around the equipment so that they're not crossing paths. That can get pretty specific, but I think we're going to have to. Another thing we have to think about is actually what is the talk in the industry is actually booking time to come in to work out. So it's not a open door, drop in when you can, like it used to be, come whenever you want. You have to actually schedule a time in the day to come in and use the facility and work out and then leave. So that is so how does that look? Do you have the ability to do that? Do you have the booking software to be able to manage that? When we're looking at small equipment, again, it's that talk about those small soft goods that are on the floor that you may want to take off the floor, like your medicine balls. We generally don't have our bands and our tubes and things like that on the floor because I'm sure in your facilities, the same as ours, those can be easily shoved in a backpack and they walk away very easily. So we make sure that we always do a checkout process for those pieces anyways, so that we can sanitize them. There's also the talk in the industry of bringing your own equipment. Like if you have your own little package of bands that you want to bring and you're nervous about checking out equipment that's high touch, then you can do that as well. And you can consider getting little packages of equipment that you can brand for your facility or the college logo with bands that they can use. So programming on site. So you're probably going to begin, everyone's going to begin with limited programming. You can do one-to-one sessions with people, but the clear consensus is that there's going to be no group programming initially, group exercise classes or small group training. That's going to be something that we're likely going to steer away from in the very beginning, and we're just going to be focusing on people using the facility, how we're going to monitor that, what does that look like, direction of travel, making sure that people are not congregating in small groups around pieces of equipment. And virtual programming. So at the end, we can talk about what people are doing for virtual programming, and there's going to be the need for it to continue to offer these services, especially with group exercise classes and some small group training and even personal training. I think we know that this is definitely going to be our future for a very long time. Virtual programming is what we have to think about, and maybe that offering of the virtual membership. So determine what's going to continue virtually and what you don't have to do now when you're back into your facility. What form is it going to take? The frequency? Who's going to deliver that? Is it going to be your staff? Do you have Group X instructors that just come in and teach? Are they going to offer it virtually for you? And then looking at or investigating other means to provide that anytime, anywhere professional virtual classes. How are you going to manage doing that? I know we all are right now offering, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, posting videos and some programming that way. But if this is going to be where we are moving forward in the future, what other platforms can we use professionally to make sure that this is part of our business now, it's part of what we do, and consider how we're going to program for the future. So we are using what's called LiveX, but it's called ShakeNet actually. We've just have the actual we have the rights in Canada for this platform, and this can be branded for your college. It's an app. It's an actual platform for facility management platform, so you can register for classes on it, personal training both in facility and virtually. You can offer virtual classes through this app, so your members and your students can book everything right on their phone. Their classes, their personal training, they can view their assessments. They will have their own profile that they can register for in this platform. They can have pre-recorded workouts. So we've partnered with a company that's called Move 123. So they will be already on this platform, so they can choose any type of group exercise class or workout that they want. But you also have, we've just added, you also have the ability to put your own virtual classes in there. So if you are in your facility teaching a class, people can virtually join your class through this app, and they can book for it and schedule. And you can push notifications out to people as well. So I know in the college setting, for a lot of you guys, you have the ability to, you have the connection with the students. You may already have the ability to email all the students and the staff. For us at the college, we don't have that ability. We have to go through other departments. But this is also great for community members if you have them as well. So this just goes over kind of our app, how you can book for classes. You can book it right on your phone, your schedule. You can schedule for your classes, and you can also cancel out of them too, and you can see your own appointments. Personal training sessions, so in the facility and virtually, can all be done through this platform as well. And you would have your trainers already listed in there, and the members can go in and book their appointment specifically with a trainer. They would make their available time, and it would all be very easy. And they receive an email notification and a reminder that they have a session. And here's your video workouts and your content. So you have the ability to customize and brand your workouts and tailor the workouts to your own environment for the students, what they're looking for, connect with the members, and give them anytime, anywhere workouts. It's quite an amazing actual platform. So now for some of you, an interesting piece for this platform, I've been working with Jackie Corby at Fanshawe in the recreation department, because we don't oversee recreation, but I know a lot of the facilities right now, or a lot of the colleges, are using ActiveNet for your recreation and your intramural programs. So I have started the talks with ShakeNet about how we can add that option to this platform so that it becomes an all-in-one platform. So it's a fitness facility management tool, as well as running your intramurals. And Jackie has already talked to me about some of the limitations with ActiveNet and some of the things that would be great that it could do. So that's what we're working on to satisfy those and come with solutions to those problems and make it a really awesome platform. So that's soon to come. All right, so we're going to the amenities. I don't know if any facilities or if your colleges offer towel services or hair dryers in the change rooms. Any of your shampoos or your soap dispensers, you're probably going to want to remove those high touch items or those amenities at that time. And a lot of the facilities are taking those right out so that you don't have to worry about those high touch things, especially towel services and whatnot. And if you are going to keep some of these things, how are you going to manage it? Are you going to check out hair dryers? Maybe these are things that students want to use, or your members. And use of your personal equipment is being encouraged. So bring your own hair dryer, bring your own towels, that kind of thing. Now there are some talks right now that some facilities are saying, no way, I don't want anybody to bring their own personal belongings in here, because there's that view of it's contaminated and you're bringing it into the facility. But there's a lot of other facilities like, no, we would rather you bring it here and take it with you, and then we don't have to worry about offering it or you touching other things. So again, you're looking at your policies and procedures. What's going to happen with your cleaning policies? How is that going to change? The frequency, the time. Are you going to have a different schedule now? Or are you going to do it more often? Do you have cleaning companies that come in during the day. I know we have the college, but we have a cleaner during the day that cleans all the time, but we all know that that's going to be a main part of reopening and for the security and safety of the members. Pardon me, and they're going to be looking for that, and they're going to want to see it happening on a regular basis. So what does that look like? And how are you going to communicate to the members and to your students and the staff that you're taking the appropriate health and safety precautions for them so that they can feel confident and comfortable that you're doing what needs to happen to keep them safe so they can come in and use the facility. Again, this will obviously, the number of people that are going to be allowed in the facility will be mandated by the government and by the college. So you'll have to look at what does that look like for your facility. And this is where we go into talking about booking, you know, workout times. So having blocks and only a certain amount of people that can come in and work out in the facility at a time, and booking, and people have to book for that. So that's where the ShakeNet or that LiveX platform that I was showing you earlier comes in handy, because that you have the ability to set up those times in that booking process that they can do it right on their app and on their phone. So we're switching to the LiveX. We used MindBody up until this point for booking of our classes, but it wasn't, it didn't give us everything that we needed. This LiveX platform, we actually worked with ShakeNet and helped design it with them. That's why we have the rights in Canada to distribute it here, because we worked with, this is what a facility needs to function appropriately, and here's what you need to have, and we are able to do all in one. It also takes care of your financing and payments and stuff if you need it to. You don't need to add that option, but it does everything for you. And again, I put it in there, what happens if a COVID-19 case occurs post-reopening? What is your policy? And then just talking about your communication. What are you going to do? How are you going to communicate this to your members? Opening timelines, the expectations. Direct communication is the best, if you can directly email or text if you have that ability. And you're probably going to have to work with your marketing department or reputation brand management department at your college, because they're going to want to have a hand in the messaging and what message goes out to your community or the population at large. And some of the facilities, which is a really great idea, are doing video walkthroughs of the facilities and sending it to their members. So as you're in that preparation phase and you're working on planning and preparing and doing the equipment designs, you can do little video walkthroughs that you can send to the members to show them, this is what we're doing today, and today we were sanitizing the equipment. And that gives that level of comfort to the students and employees and the members that you're actually doing. They're seeing it happening as you're doing it. And then you can give them, okay, we started working on this. Now here's the video walkthrough. We finished the design of the facility. Here's workout pods that you can book and schedule to do your workouts. So that's a very useful tool, and we're encouraging a lot of our facilities to do that. Part of the communication, I mean, we're talking about our members, and we're always talking about what we're doing for the people coming to the facility, but how are we communicating to our staff as well about this? What can we do to make our staff feel comfortable with it? What happens if a staff gets sick with COVID-19? What if a staff is not comfortable coming back to work? What if the reopen is now said, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be reopening? What do you do if a staff member isn't comfortable coming back? So looking at what are those policies, talking to, the different departments or your department head of how you handle that. And then another part is the member feedback. So what we have is called Press and Express, and it's a nifty little tool. It's actually it looks like a little mini, it's like a little plastic platform. It's got a little question on it, and it has these 3 faces on it. It has a happy face, it has a I don't know, and an angry face on it. So what you'd be able to do is you can put these in different areas in your facility. Prior to COVID-19, we would put them in different areas in the facility. Like, let's say we wanted to know about a particular Group X class, if people were enjoying it, if they liked the time, or if they even liked the instructor. We would program a specific question into this little mechanism, and I would say, how did you enjoy your class today, or the experience, or how did you enjoy the instructor today? And all they would do is have to press a happy face, sad face, or a it was okay kind of face. And this all gets put into a report, like you can see. So we know, and we get these reports on a daily basis and in real time. So we'll know if somebody's not happy with a class or what's happening. So what we've done now, because we obviously can't put these machines in there for people to touch, there is an actual barcode that you can scan with your phone, and it'll bring you right to that area, and you can put a question in there. So we're thinking it would be really great. You can put it on a poster in all different areas of your facility. And we're probably going to put questions in there where it can be an open feedback for members so that they can let us know in real time, you know what, I was in working out right now and I felt very uncomfortable because I felt there was too many people in the facility right now. Or I've been working out and I've been watching these group of people and they're not cleaning the machines. You know, not that we want to create the atmosphere where people are telling on each other, but it gives us that feedback. Or, you know, the plans that we've put into place and implemented, maybe it's not working. We're going to get feedback from the members that if they like it or don't like it, and then that will help us with that evaluation piece moving forward. What can we change? And we can ask about the cleanliness. I've put these, and this one is real, so you have to be ready for the real answers when you get this. Put it right into your change rooms. How did you find the cleanliness of the change rooms today? And but you have to have thick skin to get those answers. So you got to be prepared when you get those answers for that one. And then what type of posters are you going to have when you come back? So that member optics piece. So welcoming them back to the facility, showing them all the different measures that you've taken to make sure that they're safe. Pictures, putting pictures up of your staff actually cleaning the machines, your staff wearing masks. That little video we talked about, even putting pictures up of them in the transition phase, what they were doing. What things can you do during this time to make it look positive and feel comfortable for the members? So during this time, is there new equipment that needs to be purchased? Do we need to install plexiglass in all of the reception desk areas? Signage indicating what you're doing for cleaning. Maybe it's we're cleaning every hour, you know, this is what we're doing, this is our process. And again, the pictures of the staff. Just how you just want to know how your staff, your students, your members are perceiving the facility. So that, because that's important for your feedback. That's it. Now it's your turn to talk. Ask any questions that you have. I have my email down here. I will post this as well. So this is actually being recorded, and I will also post, I will make this PowerPoint available as well for everyone, so everyone can have it and refer back. And if I can also post any information about Live Athletics, if anybody's interested in, you know, looking at a floor design, if you want to send them a floor plan to get them to redesign it for you, if that's kind of something you're looking at. If you are interested in the LiveX or the Preston Express or any of those tools, if you're able to do that, or if you don't have something like that in your facility.
Hey Jodi, so we have Angie posted a question in the chat. Where she says, my concern with patrons bringing their own equipment is how can staff discern the equipment being brought in is safe, both COVID-free and integrity of the equipment. So for me, if we were to allow people to bring in their own equipment, we definitely would have to have a sanitizing station, like before entering the building or at the front door, so that way you can be reassured. Personally, we already have people that bring in their own equipment, nothing big like weights or anything, but certain things like resistance bands, they already do that. So
the lifting straps, the weight belts, you know, weightlifting belts,
Because her next question is, if, like, for example, the resistant band snaps and it hits them in the face, who's held liable? The facility or the person? We already allow people to bring in, it's like saying you can't allow someone to bring in even their own basketball, because what if it hit off the wall and hit them in the face type deal, right? So that's what I would think on that. Angie, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I just think we've always had a policy of not having people bring in their own stuff, because then it's also hard, like you were saying, Jodi, about people taking stuff. Well, this is my resistance band. No, this is actually ours. Just so that we know the integrity of what's there, because we'll inspect it before we hand it out to everybody. And so that was just one concern that I had.
Yeah, and that's where, like I had said earlier on, some of the facilities are opting to not allow people to bring in their equipment. And that's something that you can do in your individual facility, your policy, what you're comfortable with. And, if you think people bringing in their own equipment, you want to make that available to them and brand it, then you can. If you don't want them to, and you want to have those existing pieces of equipment like bands or wrist straps or things like that, you pull them off the floor, like even the medicine balls, like things that, when you think about yoga mats is a big thing right now, because a lot of the yoga mats, on a good day, they're hard to sanitize because they're that type of material that absorbs a little bit. So how are you going to sanitize those? Does it make sense to take the yoga mats off the floor and either try to sanitize them yourselves and find a better way of doing that? Or do you tell people to bring their own yoga mats with them to class, and we don't issue the yoga? So that's kind of some of the things you want to think about for your own facility and sort of the policies that you want to set. I know for the majority of the fitness industry, they're going to encourage people to bring their own yoga mats, and they're taking the yoga mats off the floor just because it's very hard to keep those sanitized. There is another product that I will recommend I will talk about, and I can give that information as well. There is a company, there's a misting and a coating of a disinfectant that a company has come out with that you can spray. It's a mist that will coat high touchable areas that will stay on that high touch area and keep, so the virus will not live on it. And I believe it's up to 3 months. There's a couple of different products out there. Some will last for 6 months and 9 months. And some facilities are looking that as well. I know some of the companies that we deal with, they're doing it just for their employees on the handles of everything. So it's something to think about for, let's say, things like your dumbbells, like your free weights, to coat those. So you would still have to clean in addition to that, just to be, for peace of mind. But if that coating can prevent the virus from being live on pieces of equipment or high touch areas, and that's a good thing. Now, I do know it's not cheap. I believe for some of the areas it can be between $9,000 and $10,000 every 6 months to a year, but I know that a lot of facilities are looking at that right now. We don't have that product, but I do know the name of a company that's been doing that too. So any other questions about anything? Did people find this helpful, useful? Again, I'll make it available for you guys, as well as this is being recorded.
I found it very helpful. It's a really good outline or starting point to start planning all the details of what we're going to do. So thank you very much for sharing it.
Perfect. No problem. It's like I said, I wanted to kind of give it as a guideline for everybody, and just put those questions in your mind of what you need to think about, because things are constantly coming up, and this is a work in progress for us. So these are our best practices, but as more information comes out, we're constantly updating what we're going to do, how we're going to react, and upon reopening.
I have a quick question for you.
Yep.
Just wanted to say this was awesome.
Perfect. Thanks.
Really happy with the information that came in. And I like the idea of the walkthrough videos that we could be posting, so that people can become familiar what the facility may look like before they enter. Do you know if there's the capacity of the app, the LiveX, was it? Yes. To host or post these videos, or would you suggest maybe on our best practice?
Yeah, so the LiveX platform, you can post any of the videos and do virtual on there. So it has the ability to do all of those things, but you can make your own videos and post them wherever you need to on your college sites as well. we find the LiveX platform very useful in our club management because it gives you an all-in-one. And because now we've added that virtual option to it, it's a no-brainer. It can do everything for you. They can schedule all of their appointments. They can link right through on their app to their actual training appointment. So the way it would work is they would schedule their appointment either with a small group trainer or with that class, and they just go right into that class, and the link is right there, and they click on it and it brings them right to the class virtually. So it's easy for people to use. It's easy for the staff to schedule and do all of that. So, and you can absolutely post all of your videos on there, your own workout videos, everything. So that could be another webinar to show you just about that app if you'd like. We have lots of information on that.
So at this point, Jodi, thank you. That was a fantastic presentation. And we'll definitely, oh, Angie just posted, does anyone have an impending reopen date for their facility? Not yet for Sheridan.
Yeah, I don't have anything either.
I think right now our leadership is waiting for what phase 2 will come from the Ontario government and what CEDC is really recommending.
Yeah.
At this point, so we're definitely going to circulate this PowerPoint. I know some other colleges are also coming up with plans, and this is a little more in depth, which is awesome, so thank you. Does anyone have, from a college's perspective, anyone else have anything that they want to talk about, whether it's virtual classes, memberships, from something that we see more so on our end than what the universities see? That's also what this platform is about, to connecting with us from, you know, West Coast to East Coast, just to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page, or to see what other colleges like us are doing. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, concerns, anything of that nature?
I know from the
Jodi, I was just,
oh, sorry, go ahead. Yep.
I was just wondering, when you talked about how we talked about this yesterday at work, the ActiveNet, how that does the intramural. Is it the LiveX platform, or is it that ShakeNet? I'm sort of where the intramural will come through.
Okay, so ActiveNet is what a lot of the colleges here are using, I know, to run their intramural programs for students to book, to actual sign up for intramurals and whatnot in their facility, in the college setting. So our platform, so ShakeNet, is just for fitness facilities right now for all of that booking. But because at one of our locations at St. Clair College, we have the LiveX there, and they have the gymnasium booking capabilities, and they do run some intramural programs for the students and the community, and they have the capability to book in there. I've talked to Jackie because my office is right beside hers and we share the same desk, so I hear her frustration sometimes with ActiveNet and how it works or doesn't work for her to get the information that she needs to run her intramurals. And so now I'm in the process of talking to ShakeNet to add all of that to the platform and to solve those problems, so that in the end, it'll be an all-in-one platform that at your facilities across the colleges, if you have a fitness facility, it can help you manage your fitness facility and bookings of classes, as well as doing your intramurals at the same time. It'll be an all-in-one platform, and it'll be the best possible situation. So so for that, we're starting to work on that right now, that intramural portion of it. Does that answer your question?
It does, thanks.
Just a friendly reminder for those that missed it at the beginning. So Jenna from Western posted a link, which I'm going to post again. But basically, if everyone can fill out their information, it's a Google Doc. And basically, if you're not already on it, when you go to it, you're just going to go to the college's size and just make sure that, one, your information is correct. as well as it's there. This is where we'll send out like imperative information. Then also, for instance, if you are a club organizer and you want to talk to someone that's beyond a college, for instance, from Western York, all their information is there instead of you having to go through different websites and stuff. So if everyone can just also make sure that they post their info or just make sure it's correct, that would be great. And then also, I did create a separate Google Doc specifically for Canadian colleges, guys, and that's where once Jodi shares this, I'll upload it there as well. Again, it's just really to keep all the information in one area, so then there's not so many emails and chain links going around. So I'll include that link as well, in case you haven't gotten it from one of my various emails. So sorry, guys. Have any questions or anything else that is beyond the reopening? I think that's really primarily what's on everybody's mind right now. Anyone have any information or questions that they want to share? No? Okay. So with that being said, if no one else has anything that they really want to talk on, well, we're actually almost at our hour mark, so that really works out well. If in the future you have any other questions or anything, feel free to jump on that Google Doc and pull someone's email them directly, email Jodi, email myself, or if there's anything you need additional info on from like a NIRSA standpoint, feel free to email me. I took over for Jordan Robinson, who's on pat leave right now, for the program director for like the small or Canadian colleges. So again, if there's anything you want brought up for like a NIRSA standpoint, please feel free to email me. And again, you can find my email on one of those numerous emails I've sent you or from that Google Doc. And then, yeah, we can kind of go from there. With that being said, because we found that this is very helpful, we're looking to, again, host one in June. So if anyone would like to facilitate the meeting like Jodi did today, that would be awesome. Feel free to volunteer now or at a later date. If not, then I will be doing it. Does anyone have any specific dates in mind that would be best, or should I just pick a random date? We're a talkative group today, guys. Well, how about I just plan it for, I don't want to do it too short or too long, but maybe middle of June at some point. I'll send out a date and then we'll post it. Does that work? Sterling, I got a thumbs up. I like it. Heather, thank you. I like it. Awesome. So yeah, thank you guys for jumping on. This was short and sweet. Jodi, amazing info. Thank you so much for all your help and really letting us know what Live North is doing. Personally at Sheridan, we actually use Live North as well. They do our preventative maintenance. They are on top of things. It's great what they do. So if you are looking for like an app side of it, then I've been told it works well. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys. Jodi, you're good to end recording.
End it. Okay.
Upload it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.